Hare Krishna all. So welcome to Japa session. Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ashtasaki Vrinda ki jai, Panchatattva Bhagwan ki jai, Raja Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Matsya Darshan की जय, सर्व विघ्न विनाश भक्त वत्सल श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, पति गुरु महाराज जी की जय. So today now we'll start with the short Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'll try and share the verse. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 10. पश्योपातानरव्याघ्रः दिव्यान् भौमान् सदैविकान् दारनु संस्ततो धव्रात् भयं नु बुद्धिमोहनम्. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Word to word meaning, Pashya, just see, Utpadhan, disturbance, Nara Vyagraha, O man of tiger-like strength, Divyan, happenings in the sky or by plenary influence, Bhauman, happenings on the earth, Sadhaivikan, happenings of the body and the mind, Darunan are awfully dangerous, Samstitha indicating Adhuryat in the near future, Bhayam danger, Na our Buddhi intelligence, Mohanam deluding. Translation. Just see, O man, with the tiger's strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence. Purport. Material advancement of civilization means advancement of reactions of threefold miseries due to celestial influence, earthly reactions, and bodily or mental pains. By the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rains, or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, and epidemic. The average result is the aggregate result is agony of the body and the mind. Man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. Uh, they are they are all punishments from the superior energy of Maya under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, our constant touch with the Lord by devotional service can give us relief from being disturbed in the discharge of our human duties. The Asuras, however, do not believe in the existence of God, make their own plans to counteract all these threefold miseries, and so they meet with failures every time. The Bhagavad Gita 7.14 clearly states that the reaction of material energy is never to be conquered because of the binding effects of the three modes. They can simply be overcome by one who surrenders fully in devotion under the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna. I would like to offer my prayers. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथा मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयप्रदा स्वामिनिति नाम्नि ब्रह्मचर्यपद निताय कृपप्रदाय गौरपददामोदय नकरकलामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्नि नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna. So today's verse is 10th verse from chapter 14, canto number 1. I'll just read the translation again. Just see, O man with a tiger's strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily pains are all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence. So we know the context of this chapter as to how Krishna has left the material world. He is he's wound up his pastimes in the material world, and he's going back to his spiritual abode. So here, Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he is writing that by the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities, like excessive heat, cold, rains, or no rains. So here we can see as to how Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that the departure of Krishna from this material world, the departure of Krishna from the material world is a sign of inauspiciousness. So Srila Prabhupada is writing how everything around around Hastinapur or in this material world, everything is becoming inauspicious. So till the time Krishna was present in the material world and he was performing his leelas, uh, no inauspiciousness could be present there, right? So Srila Prabhupada in many of his lectures, he gives this example as to how both darkness and light cannot be present. So when I was reading second canto, even there in this fourth chapter, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning as to how both darkness and light cannot be present simultaneously. If there is darkness, there cannot be light, and once light is emanating in the place, the darkness automatically does not exist. So similarly, when Krishna is present in the material world, there cannot be any inauspicious thing because Krishna is all auspicious. But and at the same time, when Krishna is departing to his spiritual abode, all the inauspiciousness starts appearing in order to give a sign that Kali Yuga has started. So one of the examples for how we can see in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Hiranyakashipu had taken birth, we could see as to how the entire atmosphere was giving a sign that something inauspicious is going to happen, and that was true nature. It was through nature that the Lord was giving this caution that something inauspicious has happened, and that was birth of Hiranyakashipu. How the entire how the entire natural circumstances were not favorable. But at the same time, his son Prahlad Maharaj, when Prahlad Maharaj was born, everything was so auspicious. Even the demigods were firstly fearful, but after when Narada Muni told them that such a exalted devotee like Prahlad Maharaj is going to take birth, they all became happy, and even the natural circumstances, the natural phenomena were so auspicious. So the we can here also see the same thing as Krishna is departing to his spiritual abode. Everything in and around is turning inauspicious, and here Srila Prabhupada is writing about the threefold miseries. So we all know the threefold miseries, right? The Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So, Adi Daivik is that sort of misery which is caused by natural calamities. Like, it could be it could be tornadoes, it could be earthquakes. All these are the miseries which has been caused by the nature, but it is causing disturbance to us. So we have seen so many volcano eruptions in Japan, so many earthquakes that has happened in Japan, and because of that people undergo distress. So this is Adi Daivik, and Adi Bhautik means the distress which is caused by somebody else, by the by the outer surroundings, by the outer circumstance. So, for an example, if mosquito bite, that could be the best example. So, this mosquito bite, it has been caused that suffering or that pain for the second that the human goes by mosquito bite. It is caused by the mosquito, right? It is an external factor, but it is causing misery to the living entity. Or it could be certain external factors like the neighbor has got a new car or a new bike, and because they are happy, and because of somebody's happiness, it is causing a misery to another living entity. That is how the material world is. So we always make this quotation, that is, Vaishnava is a paradukka dukhi. But when it comes to the normal people, they are dukka sukhi. So for example of Adi Bhautik is, suppose a neighbor has got a brand new car, and I already have a car, but why do I undergo that suffering, or why do I undergo that misery? Is because the neighbor has got a better car than me, right? So that the external factors becomes the external external factors if start causing misery to the living entity. So that is Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmic is the suffering caused by one own self. And an example could be the thinking process of a human being, right? Or the material pains or any disease. Somebody has got a disease like cancer or some chronic disease. They can cause suffering. We don't even have to go for a chronic disease. Suppose a fever, right? A small fever can cause such huge amount of pain and suffering to the body that a person cannot perform any activity during that period of time. So these are the three different kind of miseries, that is Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So, Srila Prabhupada is writing that man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. So, what do we think that we always make the statement telling that we are advancing, but what sort of an advancement are we making? Is that advancement helping us to cross over the cycle of birth, death, and old age and disease? And if the answer for that question is no, then in that case, uh, the advancement that we are making is of no use. We are just terming it to be advancement, but it is actually misery. So we can see as to how the inventions that the scientists are making, that is one way benefiting the people, and the other way the same invention is causing suffering to the people. So, for example, it can be the technology. So, when devotees make use of technology, they're using it to spread Krishna conscious. But the same technology, there are several case studies which has reported that many of the youth, the population of the country is being misled because of the technology. So these man we are thinking that the science can solve problems, but it is very unfortunate that it is solving problem, but it is also adding on to the problems. So Srila Prabhupada tells, what sort of science are we talking about? Can your chemicals give birth to a living entity? No, it cannot even give birth to a small plant. So how the scientists, they come up with that the body is made out of chemicals, um, and everything, and it is because of the chemicals and the composition of chemical can give birth to a living entity. That is impossible, right? So Srila Prabhupada tells that life comes from life. It is the Supreme Lord who is making all these arrangements, who is giving birth to the living entities. But on the other hand, the science is claiming it to be wrong. So this material science cannot help us counteract the threefold of miseries. It is impossible that these composition of chemicals can help us cross over the ocean of birth and death. So what can help us counteract these threefold of miseries is surrendering to the Supreme Lord. Our material science cannot help us counteract the cycle of birth and death, but the spiritual science, that is Krishna conscious, can help us you know overcome the three folds of miseries, cross over the material nature, and go back to the spiritual abode. So I came across a YouTube short. It was a very short video, and it told that science had come up with a very new invention where a person can live forever. So I got curious, and then I opened the video to see how is it possible. And then I see that there was a lady, and she apparently invented a way by which um, the bone of a dead person can be turned into diamond. So she invented a way by which the dead body can be made into diamond, and she started claiming that a person can live forever. But if you think, it is absolutely impossible, right? Nobody can be immortal. Even demigods like Brahma, Indra, Vayu, Agni, we can see as to how Indra is so fearful about his position because he knows he will lose it on. Even they are immortal. So in that case, how can we become immortal? We become immortal. So that is a stupid idea. So science is coming up with such stupidity that people can become immortal, but that is not possible. Only the Supreme Lord is Satchit Ananda. So we are simply making this. Useless effort of counteracting the reactions, counteracting our reactions with the science, but we are over and again failing over it. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he is making another statement as to how the asuras, they do not believe in the existence of God, and what do? They try to counteract the reactions of the three modes of material nature and each time they're doing it, they're failing in it. So for example, it is Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Ravana, all these people are asuras. So we can see as to how um, Hiranyakashipu, he did tapasya for 60,000 years, and when he pleased Brahma, and what did he ask from Brahma? He told that I want to become immortal. And when Brahma told, I myself, I do not have that bone, so how can I give it to you? And then we know how Hiranyakashipu came up with all this big list, and he tried in every possible way to become immortal. But what happened at the end? He failed in it. Narsimhadev appeared and he ripped Hiranyakashipu just with his nails. So when all these Asuric people, they're trying and making these various ideas to rebel against the law, to counteract the reactions, what is the end result? Is that it is either it is called they are becoming their own reason for their own death. They are the reasons for their death, or they are failing in it. We can see in case of Ravana what happened when he overtook Lord Rama. The end result was was dead. Even Kamsa was dead when he fought against Krishna. In the same case, in the case of, and the same thing in the case of Hiranyakashipu, right? So all these Asuric people are trying to counteract the reactions, but they are failing in it. So, for what is the solution? Now we know the problem is that we are all in the clutches of Maya. We're undergoing this three folds of miseries. So Prabhupada, in the last line of purport, he's telling that one can overcome these sufferings if they fully surrender in devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. So we can see as to how we are all trying to practice Krishna conscious. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this wonderful spiritual science, right? So what are we trying to do? But so I was hearing from a Vaishnava, and he was mentioning as to how he gave example of a spider. So what happens is the spider, we know, it creates a web, right? It makes a spider web, and what happens, all these small flies, they come and stick around the web. It's a very big web, and these flies come and stick in the web. And what happens each time they start making an effort to come out of the web, they get more engrossed inside the web, and as a result, the spider jumps upon the flies, and the flies are eaten. So the same thing, what are we trying to do? We are in this material world, and we are trying to search happiness. And the more and more we are trying to do this, the more and more we are getting engrossed in the material nature. And we are thinking we are enjoying, but we are suffering at the end of the day. So Srila Prabhupada tells that we have to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So we will try and see few examples from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam as to how Draupadi, we all know how Draupadi was distrobed by Dushyasana, and when he was doing such an act, Draupadi was depending upon her own strength. It is said that she tried to hold her sari with her two hands, and when she failed on it, she was, depending upon, she started to hold it with her teeth. And finally, she came to know, oh, it's out of my control. Now only Govinda can save me. And then she raised both her hands and she surrendered to Krishna. And as a result, what happened? The Lord supplied her unlimited sari. It was Krishna's mercy coming out in the form of sari. Why did Krishna do this? Because Draupadi completely surrendered herself to the Supreme Lord. And Supreme Lord was so pleased with her surrender that he supplied her unlimited sari and protected the devotee. So, what can we understand here is that anybody who is surrendering to the Supreme Lord, there is no loss for them. Even in case of Bali Maharaj, when the Vamana Dev had appeared, and he had already placed his two footsteps and he had conquered everything that Bali Maharaj had owned. What did Bali Maharaj do? He gave up his personal possession and he gave up his personal body also. The body that that belonged to him, he surrendered to the Supreme Lord and he told, "Oh my dear Lord, please place your third foot on my head." And as a result, what happened to Bali Maharaj? He got his own kingdom and the Lord became his doorkeeper, right? So I will just end it with a short story I was hearing. So there was a very famous devotee of Lord Vittala. I don't remember the Mataji's name, but she was a woman, and she was very, Vittala was so dear to her. So once, what happened was, every household work she used to perform, she used to always chant Vittala's name. So, she used to broom the house, she used to chant Vittala's name. She used to wash clothes, she used to chant Vittala's name. So, Lord Vittala got so attracted to this devotee that Vittala was always behind this Mataji when she was serving. So when Mataji used to make the rice flour, and Vittala used to help her grind the rice flour. So it became to such an extent that Vittala was so mesmerized in her devotion that Vittala started helping her in her household work, so that after during the household work also he can get her association, and after the household work she gets time to remember the Lord. So every time Lord Vittala was with this devotee and he was so engrossed with her, he used to forget his duties, and he used to she used to always keep singing the names of Lord Vittala. So Vittala used to always be with her. And like this, one day what happens, Lord Vittala, from morning till night he used to be with this devotee, and in the night he used to leave to the temple. And one day what happened, it was a routine. And one night, Lord Vittala, he was with with this devotee, and he had to leave to the temple. And by mistake he forgot that that night he had to leave. And the next day morning, he realizes he's still at the devotee's place, and it is time for the doors of the temple to open, and he has to get himself ready, and he has to be at the temple. And in this hurry, what happens? The chadar and the ruby necklace of Vittala, he forgets it at this devotee's place, and he leaves to the temple. And then the pujaris open the door and they see this expensive ruby
No,
diamond
Pascal. No, wait,
ruby
wait.
necklace that they have offered to the Supreme Lord the day before was missing, and his chadar was also not there. And what they don't know where it is. And some people, they find out that it is in this devotee's house, and they tell that she has stolen it from Vithala. And after all this matter, all these rumors have spread, and it's gone to the king of the place. And the king, he becomes very angry, and he tells that she has done such an act, so hang her. So now but this devotee has not done anything. She was serving Vithala so well, she was remembering Lord Vithala so well, and she didn't know what to do now, but she never lost that faith on Vittala, and all the arrangements were made to punish this devotee. The king passes an order telling that the devotee has to be hung. So all the arrangements will be made to hang this devotee, and they take this devotee from her house to the place where she has to be hanged. And even on the way, she chants Vittala's name. Even though after Vittala has done all this big scene, it was Vittala's mistake that he left his necklace. He had to be careful with it. But Vittala did this Leela, and then the person who had to hang her tells that, oh my dear lady, now you will be hanged, so this is the last minute of your life. You remember the most dearest person whom you have the most faith on, only he can come and save you. This person, the person who is about to hang the devotee, he tells her that. And what happens is, she knows the Lord of her life is Vittala. She starts remembering Vittala, and Vittala comes and embraces her in front of everybody, and they come to know how such a wonderful devotee she is. She completely surrendered herself to Vittala. How merciful Vittala was. He was so mesmerized by her devotion that, it was her death, right? And her complete surrender to Vittala helped her cross over the ocean of birth and death. That is what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, that when one fully surrenders themselves at the lotus feet of the Lord, they can, uh, you know, cross over the three modes of material nature. So, what happens is that one devotee in Kashi hears that there is such a great devotee of Vittala. So, he desires that he has to go and take darshan of this devotee, and he comes down to Pandrapur, and he sees that, this devotee, she's fighting with the neighbor, because the neighbor has stolen the cow dung cakes of the women. She's using all abusive words, and this devotee from Kashi, he thinks, have come all the way down from Kashi to see the devotee of Vittala. And what is she doing? She's fighting over a cow dung cake. She goes near to this Mataji, and he tells, what has happened? Why are you fighting for cow dung cake? She then This devotee, she tells that this neighbor has stolen my cow dung cake. How can she do that? And this devotee from Kashi, he tells, how can you prove that it is your cow dung cake? So this Mataji, this devotee tells that, you pick up the cow dung cake, and if that cow dung cake is chanting the names of Vittala, keep it near your ears. And if it is telling Vittala, 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 then that cow dung cake belongs to me. And to the surprise of this person, he picks up the cow dung cake, he keeps it near to his ears, and it was chanting the names of Lord Vittala. So how she was so surrendered, and how, it is not just that Lord telling Name Bhakta Pranashyati, but Lord over and again proves that he'll always protect his devotees and help them overcome the three modes of material nature. So these were some of the points from today's words. I thank you all for your patient listening, and please forgive me if I've committed any mistakes. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Padit Pavna Guru Maharaj ki jai.